Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness. Welcome back, everyone, to the Women's Fitness Academy podcast. I am your host, Elin, and I am, as you know by now, an educator for Women's Fitness Academy, as well as a binge and body image expert. Today I'm here with one of my friends who I actually met here in Bali, and before we even start, I'm gonna apologize for the sound quality, and if you're watching a video, why we look like fucking ghosts. we went back to my villa and they're doing construction, so we had to go to the cafe right next door, which was nice enough to let us have a little part of their cafe. But yeah, if there's any extra noise in the background, I do apologize in advance. Anyway, today I'm here with someone who I met here in Bali, and she's a beautiful, beautiful woman. She has an amazing story that I'm really excited for you guys to share, and she's also one of the ambassadors for Women's Fitness Academy. Her name is Sharnie. I don't even actually know your last name.
Sharnie Louise on Instagram, but my name's Sharnie Cox.
Sharnie Cox.
Yeah,
I should probably ask that before I started. But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Yeah, we've just been, so Sharnie's just been here for like 2 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
And we were just like, we need to do like a recording before you go, because you obviously leave tomorrow, and today was the only really time that we could kind of fit our schedules. And yeah, it's just crazy hot, so we're sitting here dying of sweat.
Very humid today.
So hot. So guys, if you're coming over for the July retreat, don't pack any warm clothes. It's already really hot here. But yeah, we met in at CrossFit Wanderlust, the gym there. And yeah, really I've made contact at the gym Christmas party.
Yeah.
And then we just connected and just stayed in touch since then. And then when she came over, we were like, let's do a podcast together. And obviously she's an ambassador for us, so we're really excited to always have our ambassadors on, and just so they can share their experiences and their own personal businesses as well. But yeah, tell us about you. Like, what's your background? What got you into the fitness industry?
So I guess my background was never actually in the fitness industry. So I was always in the corporate world, a lot of hospitality, but it wasn't until I did my first fitness comp, and I'm not going to name dates just because I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I did my first fitness comp, and I guess I'd been on my own fitness journey, struggling with binge eating and through the vicious cycle for so many years out of high school that it wasn't until I did my fitness comp and I started to learn more about nutrition and training, and I had coaches where I then kind of, I guess, found my way and found my really healthy balance with nutrition and training. And then that's when I was like, well, I have to teach women what I've learned, because it really did save me and everything I was going through at the time. So
yeah, that's amazing. And there's so many people who I talked to who said that they've come from a background of bodybuilding or like some kind of sport like that, and it's like, oh my god, no one actually knows anything about this. So I'm going to get educated now, and then they just it just sparks their passion for it. It's like, I need to do it. But I know you have like quite a story with like sort of eating and stuff yourself. What sparked that? Like, how did that start?
So it's so crazy because, you know, when you, like, obviously you don't remember much when you're younger, but there's these key things that you remember that you're like, that is exactly the conversation or something that was said to me as I was younger that made me believe certain things. And obviously I was influenced heavily by the 6-week challenges that were out there telling me that I couldn't eat chocolate and that I couldn't eat carbs.
Yeah.
And then obviously and then all the fitness magazines back in the day. So obviously there wasn't much social media around, I guess, educating us of the sustainable ways to do nutrition and to train. So it was all the fitness mags telling us too that we need to be running, not doing weights that make us bulky and things like that. And then obviously the diets were literally salads and really small food. So there was obviously that. But the one thing was, when I was younger, I did some etiquette classes, and I'll never forget that this lady was telling us, like, you should never eat meat bigger than the portion of your palm, and you shouldn't be eating soft drinks, you shouldn't be eating lollies. And I was like high school, so I hadn't really ever dieted or been told that I wasn't able to have those kind of foods because I was always into sports and fitness growing up. And so it was from that moment then I was like, well, if she's saying that, maybe I need to follow that. And then that's when I started to like cut my food significantly. Then if I overate because I was super hungry, and that's what happens, then I would make myself be sick. And it was a vicious cycle that honestly happened probably from grade 12 onwards, maybe to like my early 20s. So with 4 to 5 years of like in and out of the yo-yo dieting, and then also the binge eating.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't.
Hey. I know, because we kind of spoke about it when we first met.
Yeah.
Of like the little bits and pieces that we both experienced, and that's kind of how we bonded. But yeah, I don't think we've actually heard the stories. The stories around it.
Oh my god, that's crazy. So, what is etiquette training?
So it was so random. I won this modelling competition when I was in high school, and it was a random thing that happened. So I won this modelling competition, and then part of the package was that we won these free etiquette classes. So I never would have done it anyways. Etiquette classes, think of like how to walk and talk like a lady, like off what's that show? Oh my gosh.
I think of
the Princess Diaries. Yeah, Princess Diaries. So it was kind of like that. How to eat with like all the courses, and then they went into like dieting and how you should be eating and what you shouldn't be eating. So I feel like that's just something that, and it's really, I think it's really, what's the word, like dangerous to be speaking about that to young kids, because they're going to run with that. And then, you know, obviously look what happened to me in my experience with that. I've grown with that. So
100%.
Yeah.
And you're so, like, you listen so much. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, influential? But at that time, like,
you're very influenced by what people say.
That's the word.
That's
you're very influenced by what people say, and, like, because you're so sensitive at that age, especially, like, as an early teen, you know, that's, for those who are familiar with my story, like, how I, like, basically developed an eating disorder because a girl in my class was new, and she was very open with having an eating disorder, and then she was very popular with, like, amongst the guys and the girls, and then basically half the class developed an eating disorder just because she had one.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was popular, so, you know, at that age, you're like, oh, well, if the popular girl's doing it, I'm going to do it too.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
How sad is that?
It's so sad. And also, like you said, like how, you know, whatever says in the magazines, and like from, like we're kind of similar age, and like when we're growing up, how it was like size 0 and like, you know, in cheek and stuff like that was popular. Like there wasn't really any role models who had curves.
Yeah.
Like the only people I looked up to were like
the skinny models in the magazines,
like Kate Moss and like who else was popular at that time? I can't remember. But
yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and it's so funny now because it's like chalk and cheese. Like obviously, when you do your bodybuilding competitions and you learn about that, it's not really all the excessive amounts of cardio. It comes down to your food and training, and weight training doesn't actually make you chunky because it is all controlled by food. So I guess that's where I learned that stuff, and then I kind of wanted to teach women about it, so I got into obviously personal training, and my approaches are so different because it's not like exactly the same as yours. It's not like really strict training. I'll never, I don't know, if a client's supposed to work out, be like, you know, what are you doing? You should have hit your workouts. Obviously, I'm very much have a balanced approach, so that's what I really focus on.
Yes, I love that. So obviously you've gone to, like, spent 4 years or something with suffering with like anorexia, binge eating. And I think it's so common, people who have struggled with anorexia, to then go to binge eating because, like, for me, I had no idea what to do if I wasn't dieting. It's like, you either diet or you binge. Like, that was basically my life, and I see that in so many girls that I help as well. They're like, well, what do I eat then? Because there's not really any guidelines out there for, like, healthy moderation or, like, maintenance eating. It's basically just, this is how you diet, or this is how you gain muscle, like, put on weight. So, like, when you were transitioning out of this, like, did you work with anyone, or did you kind of just do it yourself?
I didn't. Or? I think I just kind of like, it was like hit or miss. You can't ever do something 100% straight away. So I guess it was like trial and error for myself as well. I spent so long, like, obviously doing the competition preps, and then after that, tracking using MyFitnessPal, and I feel like it was that little bit of stint of learning about the nutritional value of foods, learning that carbs aren't bad, they're just an energy source, and just learning what's in food, you know, being able to look at my plate and be like, that's carbs, protein, fat, and that's now how I've been able to, I don't know, travel to Bali and still enjoy foods out and be able to look at food and be like, okay, well, I've had a lot of carbs, that's great for energy, but now I'm going to have a bit more protein and fats for dinner and stuff like that. So now I can kind of intuitively eat and not have to track as strictly.
Yeah, I love that. And I had this conversation this morning with someone that, like, intuitive eating, it's like, it's not like, it's something that people say that they really want to do, but it is really important to still understand what food is made up of. 100%. Because, like, I think it's a big difference between educational intuitive eating and just eating intuitively. Like, if I was just eating intuitively, I would be like, bread all the way. Chocolate. 5 of
the brownie slices you had at lunch.
I just feel like, yep, cookies all the way. So I think it's really important that you do also focus on, like, the education.
100%.
And just understanding, like, okay, what's going to make my body feel good? Like, how do I feel after eating this food? Like, how do I want to perform in the gym? Like, what is the protein source? Like, how much protein should I be having every single day? Like, obviously you don't have to track every single day, but just having that ability to eyeball, I think, is so important.
And that's also what helps me, I guess, stop the whole binging and restricting and, you know, making myself be sick, is like actually knowing that having a piece of cake is not that bad. So it's like the education is, I guess it kind of like, it was all meant to happen like that, you know, like I was meant to do the competition preps and learn all about it. I was meant to get the personal training and kind of figure it out on my own, and then now I'm meant to be able to teach women about it now. So
yeah,
I feel like I'm definitely where I'm supposed to be.
I mean, absolutely, and I think it's really cool to be able to have that experience. Like, you don't, there's only so much like a book or a course can teach you. Like, if you haven't actually lived it yourself, you're not going to understand what these women are going through. And now, like, when you have that experience, you're just going to be able to help them on another level, because you're like, I've literally been in your shoes. Like, I know what it feels like to know in the back of your head that carbs are not bad, but to still be so convinced that, no, I can't eat it. I feel
so scared about it, And that's really cool, because when you meet clients and when you meet these women, you can kind of share your story, and they almost relax a little bit and be like, oh, I'm not alone. She actually has experienced this as well, and feel really comfortable to then open up and then work with you, I guess, on a closer level.
Exactly. And like feeling open and like vulnerable and being able to have that safe space of sharing whatever it is that you've gone through. It's like sometimes I think, like, I don't know, when I first got into the industry, I was always like idolizing, you know, everyone who I thought that looked good. And in my head, I was always like, they've never struggled with anything. Like, look at them. They seem to have the perfect life. Like, no one's ever going to understand what I'm going through. So I love how, like, people now are starting to open up about their own struggles. And it's just like, you being able to open up and share your story really opens up for everyone else to share theirs, and then everyone can heal. 100%. Which I think is really, really cool. So you struggled with that for a few years, and then you did a bodybuilding show. Was this kind of something that triggered that unhealthy behavior for you, or did you feel like the bodybuilding show helped you overcome it?
I will be so honest. So the first show I ever did, first show I ever did, I'd say, what did I say, roughly 4 or 5 years ago. Let's just say that. I did it, and, you know, I did well because, like, I spent time building my food up. So to diet down and drop the body fat was quite easy. But it's the post show that triggered it so badly. It triggered it. And it was almost like I fell into the same patterns that I did when I was younger. And I was kind of like, because your hormones are all out of whack, you know, you're hungry, but then you never, what is it? You're always hungry and never full. Gremlin and, what is it?
Ghrelin and leptin.
So that's what it was, and I thought it was, I was like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with me, like, why am I needing to eat all this food? And then I almost got into that, as I was saying, into that vicious cycle again. And then I kind of had a break from competing and then went back into it with IFBB, and it was a lot different then. It was a lot different. I feel like because I had learned even more and just understanding that post-comp, your hormones are going to be out of whack. You are going to be feeling quite hungry. You're never going to be full, and just like riding that wave until your hormones do balance out. But I feel like now, in the position I'm in, and with everything that my business represents, I probably won't ever do a fitness competition again, because it's not in line with my values and what I want to teach and, I guess, be a leader in. And that's kind of not the path or the direction I want to be taking. My own fitness, and then others as well, because people look up to you and they want to follow in your footsteps. So if I'm kind of dieting really heavily and restricting and not having any balance, that will then be reflected in my business, and I don't want that for the women that I work with.
100%. And I think, like, you know, your business is really a part of you, and like, especially when we are entrepreneurs, like we are, and we have like our whole brand is basically online, and people come, you know, there's a gazillion different fitness coaches and, you know, coaches like myself out there. But people come to you to work with you because of who you are and your values and, you know, your struggles and like your background and how you coach. So I think it's really important that we, as coaches, you know, we don't just talk the talk, we actually do walk the walk as well. And like that's why I kind of transitioned from weight loss to now like intuitive eating, like binge eating kind of stuff. I think how your business, like we had this conversation before, but how like our business kind of take different directions based on wherever you are in life. So if you're when you were comp prepping, like you probably would have liked to work with people who were comp prepping.
And be more strict with the dieting and balance, definitely.
Exactly. And then you're moving away from that, might be other people, and then, you know, now you're a bit more into CrossFit, so maybe you'll have a few more like CrossFit clients and stuff.
Well, I feel like the CrossFit thing is that it's so different from training for your body to look a certain way. It's more like performance-based and pushing yourself and hitting a number and getting X amount of reps, where I feel like that's what really excites me now, is because I'm enjoying training so much more. Sure, I still love the bodybuilding side of things. I'm always going to do that. But now it's not so much based on like trying to sculpt your body to look a certain way. It's about what your body can do. And that's what I want to then reflect into my business now. Steering away from, don't come to me because you want to drop body fat. Come to me because maybe you want to improve your lifestyle. You want to be the best version of yourself, and you want to get really, really fit and challenge yourself in ways like you've never been challenged before. And that's kind of, I guess, that's where my business will be going.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I think there's so many people that I've talked to, and they said that, you know, something like CrossFit or like a triathlon or Ironman or powerlifting or something like that really pushes your body to do really cool things has had such a big part of their healing journey. And I think it's like, guys, if you are someone who struggles with like binge eating or eating disorder, any kind of disordered eating behavior, do really encourage you to like find something that you really enjoy doing and that pushes your boundaries and shows you that you are capable of so much more than just looking pretty or like looking a certain way or being shredded, and like, because at the end of the day, it doesn't comes down to that. Anyway.
I know, and I always believe it's like a trickle effect, like how you skim a rock and it goes. It's like when you are feeling good and confident and maybe pushing your body in those ways, maybe your work will be improving, your relationship will be improving because you're focusing on these areas. So it's like a whole trickle-on effect in your whole entire life.
Oh, absolutely. Like, just looking back to, you know, I'm sure you can relate to, but like when you were struggling with, you know, eating disorders and your body image, like, you didn't have the healthiest relationships and probably didn't have, you know, the healthiest lifestyle in general, and the mindset especially, because you know, everything that we do is kind of connected. Like, maybe not, you might not do everything in the same way, but most of the time it does spill over into the other areas of your life as well.
And that's why I guess even speaking with clients, like that's why I encourage, obviously, to get on top of your health and fitness, but find new things that push and challenge you, because maybe you're not loving work. Whereas like back in the day when I was struggling with all of this, I wasn't in a job I loved. I didn't have really healthy relationships around me or a healthy relationship with myself. You change the way that you do the food and training, and that changes your mindset. Now I'm in a job that I love, and I absolutely adore. You know, relationships are so much more healthier. And I guess it is like I'm a walking, talking example of how if you do change these small things, that your whole life can change.
Yeah,
for the better.
100%. So before you became a personal trainer, what were you doing for a job?
So I did a university degree. So I did a majored in events and marketing, and then I was working in event management for about 4 years, and it was like events and hospitality. So to me, that was like not the healthiest lifestyle, because there was a lot of late nights. I was always around food, and that's when it was like at the peak of, you know, my sleep wasn't the best, my training wasn't the best, so obviously I was just eating all the food. And then I moved out of that and worked for a not-for-profit organisation and did corporate partnerships for a while, which was really nice, really special, but it wasn't like my thing, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the thing that I needed to be doing. And then when I started this, I was like, this is what I need to be doing. You kind of just know, like...
Oh God, 100%. But, like, did you just get up one day and you're like, no, I'm going to leave my corporate job, I'm going to do this? Or did you kind of transition, like, to have both?
So, it's so crazy. I listen to so many Tony Robbins podcasts and all of his YouTube video clips, and, I feel like it was one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my personal training course and I'm going to be a PT. And I kind of just, it didn't happen like that, but I decided that's it, I'm going to study, I'm going to do this. And then the transition was so fast. Like I kind of was working in the corporate world, and I was also starting PT, and I was doing like, you know, the normal 8 till 4, Monday to Friday, and then every morning, every night I'd be in the gym doing personal training. And obviously when you're building up your business, you're not making that much money. So I was doing like, I was literally working Monday to Friday, morning and night, all day at the corporate job, and that's kind of how I built it up. I did that for 3 months, and then in that time I was like, well, now I'm ready to move fully into PT, and I just took the jump. It's crazy.
Well, I love that you say that, because I think that a lot of people think that you just do a course and you're qualified, and then you're going to be a personal trainer, you can have clients, and you don't have to do any of the work. And then when they, you know, especially if you're going online, that is fucking a whole other level. Like where are you going to get your clients? If you don't have a community, if you don't have a name for yourself, if you don't have any references, like how are you actually going to get these clients on? So, like, guys, because there's a lot of you who are studying with us at the moment, you might become personal trainers or nutritionists or whatever it is that you're studying. Just be aware, like, it's going to take work. Like, just because you have a degree doesn't mean people are going to be, like, lining up to work with you. You need to actually do the work. And I actually think it's a good idea to have, like, your other job and do, you know, the other stuff as a side hustle for a bit, just like you did. Because I think that if you just completely quit. Like, that's super brave if someone does that.
Yeah.
But I think it also puts a lot of financial pressure on your business to succeed. And then you have that anxious energy, like we've spoken about relationships earlier today, and that when you have that anxious energy, no one wants to be around you.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to be around that desperate car salesman who's like, come and buy my car, like, what about this one, what about this one?
But I'm in two minds about it, because I feel like maybe if you know that's exactly what you want to do, don't have a plan B. You know what I mean? Like, go all in, but just know it's going to take time and have a plan set up. But if you are all in with something, you're not going to fail with it because you do everything to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, so you have so much time. That's how I kind of was like, well, I can do this for 3 months, and sure, it was a risk to do it, but I was like, I will not fail at this. There is no plan B, and I'm putting everything, like all of my energy and effort into it, and like, you work hard, and it does take time, but definitely doing the in-person PT for a little while to build up, to find out who your niche is, to find out who you enjoy training, and who you maybe, like, I guess, blend well with, and then get that experience in the gym. Maybe get coaches of your own, so you're learning from them always, and then that's when you can transition to online, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely agree that, like, it's good to go all in and that you be like, oh, well, I have no choice, I'm going to make it work. Because it does always work out. Yeah. If you have the finances to do so. Like, obviously don't skin yourself trying to follow your dream. Like, you want to still be able to put food on the table.
Or live in Bali and it's cheap.
Pay barely anything. But it's just, that's kind of, when I first started, I did my business for 1.5 years, and then it started to get to the point where I could just make a living off it, and that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to go all in with this, and I'm going to make it work. And it was scary as fuck, but at some point, you just have to cut the ends. Like, you can't keep doing, because what you're going to do, you're just going to do both jobs half-assed. And then it's like, you know what, I don't actually like this job, I'm going to go full all in with my own business, and it's the scariest thing you probably ever do, but...
And you're never going to be ready, you know? I was like, always like, well, I'll wait until I'm ready with X, Y, Z. But with this, I was like, I jumped before I was ready, because that's the way you're going to learn.
You have to, of course. And it's the same thing with, like, you know, trying CrossFit, or moving to a new place, or even just, like, dating a new person. I think that you just have to kind of, like, you're never actually going to feel like, okay, now I'm 100% ready. It's not really about the feeling, it's more about, you know what, fuck it, it's a choice. Just go for it, and then you make it work, and if it doesn't work, what's the worst that's going to happen? You can just go back to your other job, or you can, you know, be with someone else, be alone. Like, it's just, it always works out. I think it's just, we tend to overthink things and have, like, all these, like, scenarios to all the reasons why we shouldn't do it. And so we forget to look for the reasons why we should, which is very, very important to look for the reasons why you should do things, and not just for why it's so expensive, and, you know, why you should, like, all the scary stuff, and that you don't have experience, like, there's always people doing what you want to do who have less experience, less money, like, so just freaking go for it. So, when did you start your business? How long ago was that?
I'm so bad with years. Everything blends together. I'm going to say maybe like 4 years? 4 or 5. I'll say 4 years. 4 years. Let's say 4 years. 4 or 5. 4 or 5. 4 or 5 rough.
Very similar. So, because you still do that gym that you train at, is that yours as well?
Well, I work at Fitters FK Gym.
Okay, you just work at
So I take one-on-one clients at the gym in Brisbane. And then I've got a bunch of online clients, and then I do challenges throughout the year, which are like online challenges. And this year I'm running a retreat in Bali at the end of April, which is going to be so exciting. I'm so excited for it. So that's going to be like fitness retreat, and usually at the end of the challenges that I run, we do photo shoots in Brisbane. We're going to do the photo shoot in a beautiful retreat in Bali, so it's going to be amazing.
God, I'm going to crash that so bad.
You have to come.
Of course, I would love to. So tell us about this retreat in Bali. Like, what is it going to be? Like, are people going to, like, where are they going to stay?
So we're staying at the Haven, which is in, I'm going to say Berawal. I'm getting
Berawal.
I'm getting better with the
names.
So it's like right on the beach. It's going to be so beautiful. So some of the mornings we'll wake up and do morning yoga. It's just going to be like a really wholesome retreat. And we'll be training at Wonders Fitness Village. So I'll be running all the classes, which we'll be doing outside of the gym classes. Then we'll do the Thursday long haul and Saturday smacking. So we'll join in a little bit.
The long haul. Why would you want to do that?
It's so much fun though. I love it. And then we'll do surfing, just like a bunch of activities. And I guess the reason being is, like, I love bringing all my clients together because, you know, obviously in the gym in Brisbane, we've got such a really strong community. All the girls, you know, love each other. They train together. And then bringing that, I guess, with the online girls and having a bit of a mix is going to be really nice in Bali. So I'm really excited for it. And we've got some girls that solo travelers, so they don't even know anybody. They're really excited to push themselves out of their comfort zones, and that's exactly how I felt my first trip to Bali last October. I kind of came on my own, and I really needed to travel, just like to get out of Brisbane for a little bit, and I'm so scared. I was like, I'm not going to know anybody, it's going to be really scary, and that's when I met you in October, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Well, we didn't actually meet.
Or like maybe we trained together.
We probably did a class together or something, but we first made contact when we were really drunk
at a Christmas party. But you know what I mean? Like, if I hadn't pushed myself out of my comfort zone in October, I wouldn't be, you know, back in December and then doing this retreat here and having met you and all these really amazing people here. So, yeah, it was a really exciting time. So it'll be really fun. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's so good. And like, Bali is just the best place to meet people because basically everyone who comes here on their own.
Yeah.
So like, you can literally sit at a cafe. Like, this is how I met so many of my friends. I like sit at a cafe and she's like, oh, what are you doing here? Or especially if you're going to the gym where you're going to be training up with your girls. Like, if you guys like sit back and just chat or like have a coffee in the cafe, someone's definitely going to sit down next to you and be like, oh, like, where are you from? How long are you here? Like, how was the class? Like, it's so
and we'll
much.
all be together on the retreat as well. So like, people will be meeting each other and making friends. So I'm so excited for it. So.
Yeah. So is this just for your girls, or can like anyone come?
Well, anybody can sign up. Yeah. So some people have just signed up with me online and they're starting, but I've got some other girls that have messaged me since I've been in Bali now. I think they're like from Bali or even from other places that they might be joining. So yeah, it's gonna be just a bunch of people, and that's what I love. Is like bringing everybody together. Is like I guess my main goal with SLF and building the community because. You know, like, when you go and train in the gym, it can be quite isolating if you just got your headphones in. It can be really scary as well if you're not confident in the gym. So, like, having a nice community around you is really good to, I guess, train together and make yourself feel confident in the gym. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I think it's such a good idea. And, like, it is scary to travel on your own. Like, the first time I ever went on a plane by myself, like, I was scared as fuck.
I was so scared in October. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like walking into Wanderlust and it's so busy. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Plus, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do CrossFit. What am I going to do? But I just, it did it. It was so much fun. Like, again, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and then opening up to all these new amazing opportunities.
Yeah, and like, that's actually, you know, how you're going to grow, how you're going to become better and like see the world. And it's just so cool. That's what the biggest thing that I love with CrossFit is that it always pushes you out of that comfort zone. Yeah. And it's like, oh, like, can I do a snatch? Can I do a handstand? Can I do a pull-up? And then you do it and you're like, oh my god, like, if I can do this, I can do so many other cool things. Like, it really does transition into so many other areas of your life as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, coming into Wanderlust, like, I had done CrossFit for a while and I still felt so intimidated when I first walked in there. And I think also because, like, you know, people are like chatting to each other and like, you feel like, oh, like the outsider, it's like scary. But honestly, like, as soon as you walk in, it's just,
I know,
like, just
everybody's
say
so
hi
friendly.
to anyone, and they'll be chatting to you, and everyone will be so nice. And it's just about breaking that ice and just putting yourself out there, and like, get rid of fucking comfort zone, just step out, go for it, close your eyes, and just go.
Pick up that barbell.
Pick up the barbell, and just like, you know, high five a couple of people, tell them that you did a good job. Like, the best icebreaker, I feel like, is after a workout when you're standing for the fan, and you're just like, how did you go for the workout?
Yeah, or like, did I just do that?
Yeah, exactly. And like, especially guys, if you are solo travelers and you come into Bali, like, you know, go to a gym like that. Like, even if you don't even do CrossFit, like you said, you've never done that kind of training. Like, you don't have to be a fucking pro to go there. Like, there are a lot of really, really fit people there, but there's also a lot of people who've never really done it before. And they have like all of these other different classes and stuff that you can try, and not just Wanderlust, but there's so many cool gyms
around Bali. There's so many.
Like group fitness classes is just so good. And then having the confidence to just walk up to someone and be like, hey, like, do you want to maybe like grab breakfast or grab coffee after, or like, can I get you Instagram? Like, no one's gonna say no. And if they do, like, fuck that, like, you don't want to be friends with them anyway.
Oh, I love the way conversations go to that.
That's like, I remember the first couple of days when I was here, and I was really anxious because I felt like I didn't know anyone, and I was like, everyone seems to have like all these friend groups and not me. And then I just like started talking to some Irish girls at the gym, and they were all going for breakfast, and I was like, do you mind if I tag along? And then we just became like really good friends, and they're still my friends. And it's just, it is scary and it is awkward, but honestly, like, if you're gonna move here or if you're gonna come around your own, that's just
or if you're gonna do the Women's Fitness Academy, which retreat, like just throw yourself in there and do it, because you're going to meet so many people through the retreats and in Bali. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, if you are someone who, like, if that feels scary to go completely on your own, why don't you do something like with your girls, like tag along to that? Like, it's perfect. That's you already have friends there. Yeah. Like, they're all gonna want to.
I know, and we've got to do. Not that we do everything together. We like spare time and stuff, but most of the time, like, we'll be bonding over trying to surf. Like, when I first came here, oh my god, it was shocking, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. Are you a pro now?
No, I did it once and I thought I was going to die. Like, I had like this massive foam board, and I was like, okay, cool, I watched the surfs on TV and you just go over the waves. But I didn't realise with the massive foam boards, you can't do that. You got to like flip over or do something. So every wave I tried to go over, I'm like hitting pushback, and then like the ropes like wrapping around everywhere. Then I hit like a rock and I was like, I'm getting out now. But
my god, that's hilarious.
I'm sure by the retreat I'll be a pro.
Yeah, take your cameras, everyone. She said it here first. No, I think it's such a cool idea though, and I think it's something that, you know, before I moved here, I definitely would have wanted to tag along to something like that. And I don't know, I just never really thought about. I didn't really think that anything like that existed. Yeah. I guess because my business is so online, I can go anywhere. But if you're someone who has like a normal job and has to work like in an office, then this kind of stuff is perfect.
So much fun,
And like when you spend that much time together as well, you just become so close. Yeah. Because you spend like a week basically 24/7. Like that's not just someone that you're gonna forget. Like you're gonna remember these people for the rest of your life.
And the most special times that I've had with clients are maybe post-photo shoot where we have like a little celebration, dinner and drinks afterwards, and then just watching everybody like mingle and all the girls get along. I sit back and I'm like, like, you know, like I brought everybody together, and that's what I love, and that's what the retreat will be for the whole 8 days. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. Yeah, it's gonna be really, really cool. Yeah, that's so good. So, what is like your plan for the future? Then, do you want to like do more retreats, or do you just want to see what this really goes?
So I think my plan in the future will be to run multiple retreats a year, and I've already had a lot of interest in an October retreat. I think the start of the year maybe was a bit tough for a few people, so they've been like, you know, are you going to do another retreat, Sean? So I think I'll be looking to come back in October and do another retreat, which would be really nice, and just like build on it. I want to do, you know, like breathworks and stuff like that, stuff that's going to help, stuff that I always recommend and suggest clients to do, like journaling and breathwork and stuff like that. It's like getting into a really good routine over that week period. You go home and you've learned breathwork, and you're going to continue doing that. You're doing journaling now, you're training regularly, eating good food.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a whole week reset kind of.
Yeah, for sure. And like stuff like that can be really scary to try on your own as well. And like breathwork and ice baths and stuff like that are really scary. And like the first time I did an ice bath, I was so scared.
You feel like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
I lasted like 10 seconds, but practice makes perfect. I feel like I'm doing like 3-4 minutes.
Good job. Well, sometimes there's 2 ice baths at Wanderlust, and sometimes they're not really ice baths. Sometimes they're really hot. Like when it's a hot like this, like you go in there, like this is probably like 16 degrees. It's more like a cold plunge. But when he didn't have those, and he had those. Were you here when he just had the little barrels outside?
No.
Oh my god, it was so funny. And then they would come over with like this huge like ice freaking thingies, tip them in, and then you just like sit there, and it was so cold, like freezing. But the first time I did it, I was terrified, and I just made like a new friend at the gym, and she was like ice bath queen. She's like, nope, you're going in there, you just have to do it. And she's like taught me how to like really focus on like breathing in and out through your nose, not through your mouth. And just like, I think it's really helped with my anxiety and just being able to regulate the stress, because you learn how to breathe.
Or you learn how to be really calm in highly stressful situations. That's what I found. It's like, because you want to panic and you're like, oh my god, it's so cold, I'm going to die. But if you just like get to that zone or get to where you got to be, and you can like really relax yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And it really is like, because it's so cold and all you can think about is breathing, it kind of stops that constant like thought process in your head. And I think as us as entrepreneurs, like we always have things on our minds. There's always stuff that you can do. There's always people you can get back to on Instagram. There's always, you know, new ideas for your business popping up all the time. So having that moment where you literally just sit there and you're freezing cold and you're just focusing on your breathing, like I think that is really, really cool. It's so good. And I guess the same thing. It's the same thing with meditation and breathwork and all this stuff, but it's a matter of finding like what works for you and like what your thing is. And I think that's a really cool thing of being here, that there's so many people who are into so many different kind of
or just
ways.
into like bettering themselves. You know what I mean? Like that's, I guess, what I find is everybody that I meet here is doing things that are improving their life or improving their lives, which is really special and cool to be around even.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's something that I've definitely gotten better at since moving here. And I felt like one of the reasons why I wanted to get out of Sydney was because it was so much just hustle and bustle. It was just like 9 to 5 work. Everyone was rushing around, constant stress. And like sometimes I catch myself in that here as well. And then I go on my bike, and there's like a huge traffic jam, and everyone's just like,
no one cares. Everyone is so relaxed here, aren't they? It's amazing to be around. You go home to Brisbane, and I'm like, I don't know if you like accidentally drop something like, so everyone's so happy here.
Yeah, like today when we drove home from a cafe today, I like made a turn, and I did put my blinker on, I swear, but the lady mustn't have seen it, and I nearly like drove us.
People even blinkering by? I've heard that you don't blinker now.
Well, sometimes they do, but sometimes they just leave it on for like 2 hours, and it's, sometimes people use their hands. Anyway, I was using my blinkers, I was gonna turn, and then this lady, like, it was probably my fault. I probably shouldn't have turned there because it was
in the middle of the road.
Maybe not. We were trying to make the good content.
Oh, that's so funny.
And the lady, I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And she just like smiled.
Yeah,
and
they
was like,
don't even mind.
Whatever, like that's fine. Like if that was in Sydney, oh my god, they would have been like, babe, are you fucking idiot? Like flicking your finger. Like, you can't drive. Like go home to Sweden. Like we drive on the other side of the road. Like oh my god, I can only imagine the chaos it would have caused.
Yeah.
But that's, like, I would like to see that, Revolver, the coffee shop?
No.
It's like, when you come out of the shortcut. So if anyone know where the shortcut is,
I
like,
know where that is, yes.
From Batvalan to Barawa, there's a big road that is called the shortcut. And that used to be just, literally a shortcut. It used to be just like a dirt road where only motorbikes could go. And now, cars shouldn't go on there, but it's Bali, they do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. And I like to sit at the coffee shop there, and I really, like, this is a good recommendation. People are coming here. Go there, sit there, observe the traffic, the chaos, but the organized chaos. Like, it's like everywhere, but it's still,
no one even
everyone just goes.
It's so flowy.
Yeah, and it's like, how does no one crash into each other? But it's just like organized chaos. Yeah. They just know what to do, and then if there's a near like crash, they just kind of smile. They just like, oh, whatever, like keep going with the day. Yeah. And that's how you should approach life, really. Like. Like you can't give a fuck about everything. You can't get stressed about everything, and the less you can care about those little things, the happier you're going to be. Yeah, which is just crazy.
Well, when we like go to like Bali retreat, Bali traffic. It's like we're back.
We've talked about everything.
I know. Well, we are in Bali.
Easy sorters. We talked about training, how you got into this. Oh god, yeah. This is what happens, guys. It's with all my podcasts, I just ramble on. I love it. I see we're almost gone for 40 minutes now. And I know that you have a busy day with work, with clients, and I've kept you for a long time already, so get you back to your work. But I want to say thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, thank you for having me.
And I think I already said that Sharnie is one of the ambassadors for Women's Fitness Academy, so she will be completing. Are you doing the Masters Nutrition, or what are you doing with us?
No, the female course.
The female course. Cool. Amazing. So obviously, are you still taking on online clients, or is it in person now?
No, yes, I am taking on
online clients. Yeah. And when is the fitness retreat here?
The fitness retreat is the 30th of April to the 7th of May. Yeah, so we have 2 months. But I've got my 8-week challenge, my online 8-week challenge, which starts on the 6th of March, and then that runs until the 20th of April, and then it kind of leads into the retreat. So I guess I'm assuming there'll be a lot of girls doing the challenge and then coming to the retreat as well. Yeah. So kind of like a bit of a challenge. Then we've got the end of the challenge photo shoot, which will be fun.
Beautiful. Are you going to book Fins?
Oh no, yeah, we are. So we've got a closing party at Fins on the Saturday night.
I'll be there.
I know. Yeah.
My favorite.
Come and join us. Yes, it's gonna be so much fun. Oh,
I'll be the
so
really
excited.
Annoying person.
So it'll be like the whole week of training, being really wholesome, and then of course we have to celebrate the week together. So we'll do that at Fins.
It has to have that balance. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, as you know by now, please take a screenshot, tag myself, tag Sharnie, tag Women's Fitness Academy. If you have any questions about the courses, if you have any reflections about the podcast, if there's anything you want to ask questions about, like our inboxes are always open. Like we love communicating with you. We like talking to you, and I'm so sorry about the smoothie machine in the background. This is what happens when sometimes you have random workers coming into your villa doing random stuff. But this is Bali, guys. Now my face is completely out of focus here. But that's okay.
Very wide.
Yeah. Now we're two guys. We promise we're actually really tan. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. And I hope that we get to see you in Bali very, very soon. Yeah, even if you're alone, if you're a solo traveler, like, you can take the chance.
Come along. It's honestly the best thing you can do.
Yeah. And everyone's so friendly. Honestly, that I've never met as many friendly people as I've met in Bali. Yeah. It's so easy to make friends. So come along, don't be scared, book that plane ticket, and push yourself out of your comfort zone.